The Lion Trapped, pages 26 to 29. On the day following poor Abdullah's tragic death, the forces arrayed against the man-eaters were further increased. Mr. Farquhar, the superintendent of police, arrived from the coast with a score of sepoys, Indian soldiers, to assist in hunting down the lions whose fame had, by this time, spread far and wide. We made elaborate plans for a combined offensive against the man-eaters, and posted men on the most convenient trees near every camp. Several other officials also came up on leave to join in the chase, and each of these guarded a likely spot in the same way, Mr. Whitehead sharing my post inside the crib on the girder. Also, my lion trap was put into thorough working order, and 2 of the sepoys were installed as bait. Our preparations were quite complete by nightfall when we took our appointed positions. Nothing happened until about 9 o'clock when, to my great satisfaction, the intense stillness was suddenly broken by the noise of the door of the lion trap clattering down. "By Jove, Whitehead!" I exclaimed, "one of them is caught!" But, alas, for my hopes! The sequel proved an inglorious one. The bait sepoys had a lamp burning inside their part of the cage, and were each armed with a martini rifle, and provided with plenty of ammunition. They had been given strict orders to shoot at once if a lion should enter the trap. Instead of doing so, however, they were so terrified when the ferocious beast rushed at them, and finding himself trapped, began to lash himself madly against the bars of the cage, that they completely lost their heads, and were actually too unnerved to fire. Not for some minutes, not indeed until Farquhar, whose post was close by, shouted at them and cheered them on, did they at all recover themselves. Then, when at last they did begin to shoot, they shot with a vengeance, anyhow, anywhere, except at the lion. Mr. Whitehead and I were at right angles to the direction in which they should have fired, and yet their bullets came whizzing all around us. Although they fired over a score of shots, and in the end succeeded in blowing away one of the bars of the cage, and through this opening the man-eater calmly walked out. How they failed to kill him several times over is, and always will be, a complete mystery to me, for they could have actually put their muzzles of their rifles on the lion's body. Of course, after this fiasco, the men were more firmly convinced than ever that we were at the grips with the devil himself. We were not unduly dejected, however, and when morning dawned a hunt was at once arranged. Accordingly, we spent the greater part of the day on our hands and knees, endeavoring to track the lions through the dense thickets of thorny jungle, but, though we heard their growls from time to time, we never succeeded in coming up with them. Indeed, of the whole party, only Farquhar managed to catch a glimpse of one as it bounded over a bush. 2 more days were spent in the same manner, and with equal lack of success, and then Farquhar and his sepoys were obliged to return to the coast. Mr. Whitehead also departed for his district, and once again I was left alone with the man-eaters.